Hello and welcome to our channel. As you know that I was teaching you about principles of programming language using C programming, and as scheduled today is our third lecture. The third lecture is on data types and operators. Okay, it is on data types and operators. Now what is a data type? As I told you in my last lecture that whenever we declare variables, they are being stored somewhere in the memory, and unless and until we declare variables, they are not the containers. That is, they cannot be stored into the memory directly. They must be first stored in some container, and with the help of that container, they must be actually stored in the memory. So data types are a must, because data types define that what kind of data that variables are expected to hold. Now, as per you can see on this board, I have already written beforehand that in C there are primarily three kinds of data type. Okay, the first one is the primitive data type, the second one is the derived data type, and the third one is the user defined data type. As you can see that primitive data type is categorized into several other data types like integer, float or double, character, void and boolean. Again, derived data type is further subdivided into two parts, that is signed and unsigned. I will come into the details, don't worry. The signed data type is again divided into four parts like int, long, short and char, and unsigned is also similarly under four categories: int, long, short and char. In the third part, there is the third kind of data type which we use in C, that is user defined data type. Out of user defined data type, we are getting array, union, enum or structure. We use struct keyword to define those data types. Now, what are primitive data types? Primitive data types are which are already present, which our C makers of the C programming language allow us to use these data types. They can be converted from one form to another form. That means that integer can be typecasted into float, float can be typecasted into integer, or say character is again typecasted into integer. That means they are primitive data types. You need not have to change anything in these data types. They are primitive data types which are given by the C language itself. So these are those primitive data types. Now many of you will know that when you read books or theoretical books, you find that in most books it is written that integer is taking 2 bytes. But I want to clarify on this point, because many of you will not find this in the book. That is why I am giving this extra knowledge, that those books were printed long back. At that time, the 32-bit or 64-bit memory or processor or operating system neither came into existence. Most of the systems were 16-bit in nature. And whenever you create a C program in a 16-bit machine, then integer will take only 2 byte word. But rather, with the gradual intervention and the invention of new technologies, the processors and the systems are developed. They have changed from 16-bit to 32-bit and later to 64 bits. So in modern computer systems, integer takes 4 bytes of memory. Again, in float, okay, float means that in 16-bit machines it was expected to take 4 bytes of memory, whereas in 32-bit machines it takes just double of this, that is 4 bytes into 2, it's 8 bytes. Character is expected to take 1 byte. Okay, so these are the sizes of the various kinds of data type. I hope I am very much clear to you. Because don't confuse yourselves when in some books it is written that integer is expected to take 2 bytes, but I am telling you that it is taking 4 bytes. Why is this difference? Because of the difference in the architecture of the machines. In case of 16-bit machine, integer will be taking 2 bytes. In case of 32-bit machines, it will be taking 4 bytes. And on a similar note, all the corresponding data types will be just multiplied by 2. Okay, the size of those data types will be multiplied by 2 in case we move on to the higher CPU architecture. I hope I am very much clear to you. Now, what is an integer data type? An integer data type is something that suppose it can be -1, -2, -3 or 0 or 4, 5, 6, all kinds of numbers, they are integer data types. So whenever you know that your variables are expected to hold this kind of values, you declare the data type of those variables as integer. Okay, but in some other cases it is possible. Okay, let me just rub this. Okay, now whenever you are expecting that your data is something like say 5.4 or 6.5, in any I want to say that you are using decimal point numbers. So whenever you are expected to use decimal point numbers, okay, I mean decimal numbers, and you are expecting that your variable will hold this kind of data, okay, then declare the data type as float. Now what is double? It is nothing but the precision of the decimal points. That is, if I am expecting that my variable will take something like 6.54, okay, so you have to actually declare that variable as double. Okay, it all depends on the precision. Again, now when you are expecting character, suppose I want to put my variable is expected to hold alphabets like A, B, C, D, okay, A, B, C, D, or maybe some meaningful thing like cat, dog, or someone's name. So these are all taking the characters. They are neither integers nor decimal numbers or floating point integers. They are just simply characters, okay, accumulation of characters. So in that case, your variable should be declared as a character data type. I hope I am clear to you. So these are 3 very basic primitive data types. Now the void. Now whenever, what is a void data type? That means your variable is not going to return anything. That data type actually returns null value. Okay, so in that case you declare that data type as void. Finally we come to the Boolean primitive data type. In Boolean primitive data type, either our value will take any one of the 2 values. Suppose I am expecting that whether a particular flag is true for a particular condition, okay, if something is true, then do something else, do something else. Now it is governed by only say 1 and 0. So 1 is the true value and 0 is the false value. That means the variable is expected to take only 2 values. One is the true, another one is false, where true stands for 1 and false stands for 0. In that case, the variable should be declared as a Boolean. And remember, the Boolean values is expected to take only 2 values. That is either the true value or the false value. Fine. I think that the primitive data types are very much clear to you. Now we will move on to the derived data type. Now what is a derived data type? Means unlike the primitive data type, which is already defined within the C language, okay, we use some derived data types depending on whether the variable is signed or unsigned. You know what is a signed number? A signed number is something which will, where the sign also counts. Suppose I want to store -35 within a particular variable. Now -35 and +35 will be stored differently in the memory. Okay, how? Because 35 in both the cases, if you convert them this 35 into binary, both the values will be same. Then how will the system understand that whether you are trying to store plus 35 or minus 35. So in that case, one bit or a set of bits must determine the sign of this particular data. Okay, so when sign becomes very important as a data type, then we have to use the signed integer or signed long or signed short or signed character. Okay, I hope I am clear to you. And in case of unsigned int, that means that signed value, we take only the absolute value of the number. That is, you know what is the absolute value of, say, any negative number? It is always a positive number. Say absolute value of minus 35, that is 35. Absolute value of minus 1, that is plus 1. So in case we are interested only the absolute value, we declare that variable as the unsigned int. Either it should be unsigned int, unsigned long, unsigned short, or unsigned character. Okay. Now the third part is the user defined. So from the term you can understand that in case of user defined data type, we are creating our own data types. That means we are the users, we are the programmers, we are creating our own data types, unlike primitive and derived data type. We are now creating our own data types. Depending on what kind of data we are going to store in our variable, we will be creating our own data types. And those user defined data types include array, union, enum, or structure, which is defined by the keyword struct. So all of these things we will be discussing in the later lectures. So what we have understood? We have understood that data types are primarily divided into three types: primitive, derived, and user defined. Then based on their usage, okay, and based on our requirement, we have to declare the variables accordingly based on the type of data it is expected to hold. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.